Well, hello, my name's Ken Farr. I'm a dendrologist with the Canadian Forest Service of Natural Resources Canada, and today we're here in the Arboretum of the Central Experimental Farm here in Ottawa to select some trees that you might find useful for planting in the urban forest in and around the place where you live. This is a very interesting selection for an urban forest tree. It's called a Ginkgo biloba, and it's actually much older than the other trees here in the Arboretum by a good 100 million years. And it's also a very easy tree to identify based on the shape of the leaves. It's also called a maidenhair tree, which is a reference to a maidenhair fern. So a fern, kind of frilly, dichotomously veined leaf, really quite different than the other leaves on the trees we'll see here in the Arboretum. Why is it a good urban selection? The trees are very drought resistant, heat resistant. They're not affected by many diseases or by insects, and in fact they probably existed longer than the insects and diseases that might have attacked them in the past. So as a selection for an urban forest or for a landscape around your house, it's a fairly dependable and safe tree to plant. Now they'll get much larger than this tree over a period of time, but it takes about 1,000 years for them to become really big, so it's a good selection for an urban site. One of the interesting features of Ginkgo trees is that they come in pollen-bearing and seed-bearing separate trees. And you won't often find fruit-bearing trees, fruit-bearing Ginkgos, and it's really not a fruit at all, in the horticultural selection. When the fruit falls off the tree, it creates a kind of an odor that is not particularly enjoyable. However, all of the trees, most of the trees that are sold from nurseries and in horticulture are pollen-bearing trees, and then you don't have that issue. So one of the few trees we're going to look at that comes in Mr. and Mrs. Ginkgo.
If you like this video, let us know with a thumbs up. Click on the logo below to subscribe to the Simply Science channel and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload new videos.